hosts, make sure that's on there, have all 5 layers, okay? There is a process running that is for each layer. So remember this. I'm going to say processes, those are like mini programs, okay? Our application is one process. If you ever hit Control Delete and say Task Manager, your computer will say these are the running processes. Some of those processes are your networking processes, okay? So a host will have all 5 layers. So if we draw that out here, we have an application, we have transport, we have internet, we have data link, and we have physical. So there are 5 layers on a host. And if we go to our other hosts, they're also going to have an app, a transport, an internet, a data link, and a physical. All right. Oh, I don't have to draw those out. Now, along the way, what did I say? So I had me. I draw me right here. So there's me. I'm connecting to a server. And I was connected to a switch. The switch was connected to a router. The router was connected to another switch. Oops. And then that went straight to the host. I don't want to draw all the other ones in, sorry. So here's how it goes. My computer needs to send a frame that goes to the switch. So remember, when it comes down to the data link layer and is organized into a frame, the physical layer transmits out the 1s and 0s that make up the frame. So I come over here to the switch. It has a physical layer on it because it needs to read the 1s and 0s that come into it. Okay? So the 1s and 0s come into the switch. It needs to see the frame because the switch needs to decide what other port is it going to go to. So we'll draw this up here. Oops, where's my one that has stuff plugged into it? I'll just plug the same thing into 2 things. So if we look at our little switchy here, what's the numbers? Oh, the numbers are right here in the front. Can you see those numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I look at the back, this is port 1 right here, and this is port 4. So the message comes in port 1. The switch needs to decide which port to send it out. So it needs to look at the frame and see what the address is. We will worry about actually how it works in the Ethernet unit. But it needs to see in the frame what port is going to go out. So it has a data link layer process in it. All right? How many physical interfaces does this switch have? We're going to ignore that right now. It has 4, right? You have the numbers on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 ports on the back. That's a router port. We'll do that next. So there's 4 ports here, and there's 4 different directions it can go. So I'm only drawing 1 here. So we need to go over here to a router. The router is going to get a frame too. I'll just put a P. The router needs to look at that frame in order to unpack the destination subnet information. Okay? So the packet comes up here. Then it needs to put it in a new frame and then go to another physical layer. I better put PHY. Crazy. So that's where I'm just going to unplug this now. On this one, this is actually, so this is a switch. That's a router port. So this router has actually 2 interfaces. One is right here, and the other one is just here, generally speaking. We're not going to worry about it too much. But so the router will get the frame in, it looks at it, and it says, oh my goodness, I need to route this to the internet. Then it's going to send it out the, yeah, that's yellow, right? The yellow port. Are we cool here? Then we have another switch on the way. I'm not going to draw that one. It does its stuff. And so what basically ends up happening is these kind of, I guess I'll draw it with a different color, although it doesn't seem to matter. Oops. So hosts have all 5 layers. Devices along the way have at least one. We'll just put one or more. I'll make that one look like a real one. So devices along the way have one or more. I might talk later about there's devices where it has multiple physical ports. It's crazy, and we'll see one of those later. But so a switch, sorry, one or more layers. We'll put layers. Okay. So there is physical at least. Okay. A switch. I'll just write them down here. A switch is considered a layer 2 device. That means it has 2 layers in it. So it has a physical layer process, something to read the bits coming in, and it has a data link layer process, so something to read the frame. You cool here with that? What does a router have in it? What a router is a what device? So a router is a layer 3 device because it operates at layer 3. When you say it operates at layer 3, you assume already it has a layer 2 process and layer 1 also, obviously. I mean, everybody has layer 1, come on. Everybody has layer 2 if they have layer 3. So it goes up from there. There are devices that will work at the transport layer. Okay? So I can connect, it gets a little dicey to think about this, but if you think about like Facebook where they have millions and millions of users connecting in, and they need to not have those all running on one single computer. And so what they can do is break up the different users by where they're coming from and send their requests to different computers. It gets a little spooky there. We'll not worry about that at all, but you can do that. So there's such a thing as layer 4 devices. So we'll just put here, they exist, okay? And a layer 5 device, that's called a host.